Today's question is explain the role of different agencies which formulate the foreign policy of India. India's foreign policy is shaped by a complex interplay of various agencies and institutions, each contributing to the formulation, implementation, and assessment of the country's international relations. These agencies operate within a framework established by the Constitution and guided by national interest, security concerns, and global dynamics. The key agencies which are involved in India's foreign policy formulation are which we will be discussing. First is the executive branch, the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister plays a pivotal role in shaping and directing India's foreign policy. As the head of the government, the Prime Minister articulates foreign policy objectives, sets strategic priorities, and represents India on international platforms. Personal relationships with other world leaders can significantly influence diplomatic negotiations and bilateral ties. Next, in the executive branch, we have the cabinet. The Union Cabinet, particularly the Cabinet Committee on Security, is instrumental in making decisions regarding national security and foreign policy. The Cabinet Committee on Security, headed by the Prime Minister, includes key ministers such as the Defense Minister, External Affairs Minister, and National Security Advisor. This committee evaluates strategic threats and opportunities, guiding India's response to global events. Next, we have the Ministry of External Affairs. MEA is the principal agency responsible for executing India's foreign policy, led by the External Affairs Minister. The MEA manages diplomatic missions abroad and coordinates with other ministries and agencies on foreign policy matters. Its key functions include diplomacy. The MEA engages in negotiations, dialogue, and communication with foreign governments and international organizations. And bilateral relations. It oversees the formulation of treaties and agreements with other nations, managing India's extensive network of bilateral relations. Next, multilateral engagement. The MEA represents India in global forums such as the United Nations, G20, and BRICS, advocating for national interests and contributing to global governance. Next, we have crisis management. The MEA coordinates response to international crises that affect Indian nationals abroad or India's interest globally. Next, we have National Security Council. The NSC plays a crucial role in integrating various aspects of national security, including foreign policy. It comprises the Prime Minister, the National Security Advisor, and other senior officials. The NSC assesses threats, evaluates defense strategy, and ensures coherence between foreign and defense policies. It serves as a platform for coordinating actions among the military, intelligence agencies, and diplomatic entities. Next, we have intelligence agencies. Agencies like the Research and Analysis Wing RAW and the Intelligence Bureau IB provide critical information and assessments that inform foreign policy decisions. Their intelligence reports on global trends, security threats, and geopolitical dynamics help the government make informed decisions. RAW in particular focuses on external intelligence, while the IB monitors internal security issues that may have foreign implications. Next, we have Ministries of Defense and Finance. The Ministry of Defense plays an essential role in foreign policy, particularly in matters related to military cooperation, arms procurement, and defense agreements. Collaborations with foreign militaries and participation in international defense forums enhance India's strategic position. The Minister of Finance, while primarily focused on economic policy, influences foreign relations through trade agreements, economic diplomacy, and international financial collaborations. Economic ties often underpin diplomatic relations, making this ministry an important player in the broader context of foreign policy. Next, we have Parliament. The Indian Parliament, particularly the Parliamentary Standing Committee on External Affairs, plays a role in overseeing and scrutinizing foreign policy decisions. While the executive holds the power to formulate foreign policy, Parliament can influence it through debates, discussions, and resolutions. Parliamentary approval is required for certain treaties and international agreements, ensuring that elected representatives have a voice in shaping India's foreign relations. Next, we have think tanks and research institutions. Various think tank and research organizations such as the Observer Research Foundation (ORF), the Institute for Defence Studies and Analysis (IDSA), and others contribute to foreign policy formulation by providing expert analysis, research, and policy recommendations. They engage in public discourse, influencing both government policy and public opinion on international issues. Next, we have civil society and media. Civil society organizations, including non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and advocacy groups, influence foreign policy by raising awareness on issues such as human rights, climate change, and global health. They often provide critical perspectives that may affect public opinion and indirectly government decisions. The media also plays a crucial role in shaping public discourse on foreign policy issues. Through reporting, commentary, and analysis, the media can highlight specific international issues, creating pressure on the government to respond or adjust its stance. Next, we have regional and local governments. While foreign policy is predominantly a central government function, regional and local governments can also play a role, in particularly in areas like trade and cultural diplomacy. States with strong economic ties or cultural connections to other countries may engage in their own diplomatic initiatives, contributing to the overall foreign policy landscape. Last, we have the conclusion. The formulation of India's foreign policy is a multifaceted process involving various agencies and actors. The interplay between the executive branch, the MEA, security institutions, parliament, and civil society creates a dynamic environment where a foreign policy evolves in response to changing global context and national interests. This collaborative approach ensures that India's foreign policy is comprehensive, responsive, and reflective of its aspiration on the world stage.